Greetings, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I hope your holiday season is going good. Why don't we go ahead and say that, because it is coming up in December, and the holiday season for a lot of people around the world is coming up. So, no matter what you celebrate, Hanukkah, Christmas, or Kwanzaa, or whatever you celebrate, have a great, happy holiday, okay? Well, today we're going to be starting off our December with Smithwicks. Now, we're going to be talking about Smithwicks here in a minute. We're going to find out what makes it tick. And I'm going to read a little bit about red or Irish ales. This is an Irish ale. This is a true Irish ale. It does come from St. James Gate in Dublin, Ireland. I believe it's the same people that do Guinness too, so hey. But it's a really great beer. I've had it before, and I've got my Smithwicks glass. I don't know if you can see that. I may have to zoom in on that. How about that? But we're going to be talking about Smithwicks here today. We're going to find out what makes it tick, and we're going to do it on Okay, folks. So we're going to learn a little bit about an Irish red. Now, we already did an Irish red ale from Southern Growl over here, close to me. Now, that's an American version. This is going to be the real deal. This is going to be an Irish red ale from Ireland, okay? Now, I'm going to read a little bit about the Irish red ale, so to kind of prepare it, and I actually found something really neat to it, too. So, to kind of give you the idea here, an Irish red ale, malty, toasted, caramel, toffee, medium-bodied. Love it. A variation of the English Pale Ale Irish Red comes with a notable dash of roasted barley. Okay, used for centuries in Ireland, porters and stouts, giving the beer a reddish hue and a dry roasted finish. Although the color can range from amber to copper, which I believe this is going to be more of an amber color, the malt showcases a very low hop influence in aroma, flavor, and bitterness, which leaves the malty, sweet, caramel, and toffee notes to shine. I can attest to that, because regular Smithwicks does have that flavor to it. Then, along with some toasty character, right? Roasted grains can contribute to a perceived low to moderate level of bitterness, which colder serving temperatures can attenuate. Okay, or it can accentuate, really. Medium-bodied, it has a smooth mouthfeel. Interestingly, a few beers on the market labeled Irish Red are brewed as a lager. Now, you can brew different beers. For instance, there's one that's Anchor Steam Ale, which is brewed kind of like a lager, and some of that comes by whenever you open it. There's kind of a hiss to it, and it does kind of look and taste a little bit like a lager. To me, a Yingling actually tastes a little bit like an ale, even though it's not. It's actually a lager. Now, the interesting thing that I see here is they list different styles, and I'll get this into the beer specs coming up shortly here. But interestingly, they mention a thing called Thomas Creek River Falls Red Ale. That's right here in Greenville. Thomas Creek. Gotta love that. A little bit of notoriety there for us. Anyhow, we're going to get into this beer. We're going to find out what makes it tick right now. So, I got my Smithwicks glass, right? This is a glass that I got. Actually, somebody gave that to me, and I thought it was really kind of nice. So I'm going to open this up. It shouldn't have too much of a hiss to it, but we're going to find that out. Hopefully you can hear that. I'm going to put my little cap there, and I'm going to decorate that a little bit. Festive season, you know. So I got my Irish Red here. I'm going to pour it into my glass. Now, it shouldn't be too effervescent. It shouldn't have too much of a head, but we're going to pour it gently. And if I think it needs a little bit more, I'm going to start to pull it straight. Usually they're going to pour it in the glass like this out of the tap, and sometimes they'll draw it. We don't have any places around here that actually draw the beer like you would normally. Usually it just comes out of a carbonated tap. Go and start to pour this. And I'm going to need a little bit more head on that, so let's go ahead and pour it for the top. That might be a little bit too much, but that's okay. I'm going to be pouring this pretty gently. I'm going to come right up to the top. I like to see if I can get the head of the beer to be a little bit more glass proud. It's just me. There we go. Classic, isn't it? Oh, and I can already smell it. Now remember, when we review beers, we're going to use the 5 categories: the aroma, the appearance, the taste, the mouthfeel, and of course, the overall impression. Now, if you've never had a Smithwick before, you can generally find them in a lot of restaurants, a lot of venues. It'll be on the menu, it'll be on the tap list. And it's actually designed to be one you can drink for a while. At 4.5% alcohol, you can actually drink quite a number of these. Well, you don't want to go overboard with it, and really be able to enjoy it and consume it and have a great time and not really get overly drunk. I've been to an Irish bar in York, Pennsylvania. We sat there and did nothing but drink these all night long, and I was perfectly fine. Well, comparatively. But so it's meant to be, and I believe the term is a session beer. So in other words, you go to a brew pub or you go to somewhere and you sit and you drink. Like Guinness. Guinness really isn't that high in alcohol, but it's meant to be a social type of drink, which is really great. And I'm seeing some good Brussels lace. Now, the bubbles, we'll get to the appearance here in just a few seconds, but I did want to mention the bubbles are rather large. I did kind of pour it and give it a little bit more head on it. But let's take the aroma first. Much like any other European beers, it's got a certain smell to it. It's got a certain nose to it that is undeniable. I do believe that's going to be a lot in terms of the hops. Now, I'm going to see if I can find out what kind of hops they use in Smithwick. But if you've ever had Smithwick, again, this is pretty common. It's going to have a certain nose. It's going to have a certain smell that you're going to smell. And it does smell a little bit more toffee. It's not going to have that hoppy smell to it. Yeah, toffee, caramel, toasty, biscuity, something like that. It's going to have that nose to it, but it definitely has that European smell to it, that water, much like we did with the German beers. Now, it's not German, but so we're going to go ahead and we're going to see if we can taste this. Pardon me there. Lovely. And by the way, the appearance. I didn't want to mention that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the appearance. When I look through it, it's kind of brown. It's not really amber. It's kind of brown. I don't know if you can see that. It's rather dark. Okay. It's not completely see-through. I would say it's the color of good, strong tea. Okay. And remember I said about the bubbles, they're a little bit large. On the top, they're nice and creamy and foamy. And I get some Brussels lace around there. Look at that Brussels lace. Wow, that's kind of nice, isn't it? Very, very, very beautiful to see that display right there. So, I'm going to go ahead and put those aside. Remember, I just tasted, I had to get something in my mouth, to be quite honest. Oh, it just lent to the aroma. I can still taste it, still smell it. And of course, the style of glass here lends to that concentration of the aroma. So whenever you're tasting it or smelling it, that aroma is going to be concentrated up in the top. Yes, definitely toasty, definitely toffee, definitely a little bit biscuity. You definitely taste the malt. You're not going to be tasting the hops like you normally would. It just like the description said here a second ago. You're not going to have that all of a sudden hop, a presence. I guess that's the best way to put it. Yeah, very easy drinkable. You don't have an overabundance of alcohol in your mouth. The effervescence allows that flavor to come out. That biscuity, that toffee, that toasty, to some degree caramel. I'm not tasting as much caramel as what I thought I would be, but I'm definitely tasting the malt. Okay. The hops, I mean, you can tell there's hops in there. It's not that there isn't. It's just it's not as prevalent. It's not as it doesn't have that same presence. No, but that's not bad. And I've got a little iceberg of foam on it. That's kind of cute. Actually, I'm tasting just a slight candy sweetness to it. Yeah. So a little bit of a candy, a little bit of a like a Werther's, caramel, if you would, or a little Werther's toffee. I think that's where that's coming from. Anyhow, the mouthfeel, it's actually pretty dry. Okay, it's not bad. It's not terribly dry. Okay, but you are going to get a very clean finish whenever you're drinking it. The carbonation stays with it. So whenever you drink it, that carbonation explodes a little bit more in your mouth, and you're going to get that flavor and that aroma. You're going to get it not only on your tongue, you're going to get it in your nose. You're going to get it all through your senses. You're going to feel it. It erupts on you, and it gets into the back of your throat, and you're gonna feel it there too. So, ooh, beer burps. I love beer burps. Ah, lovely, lovely. And believe it or not, depending on what you've eaten, you can actually taste a little bit of flavors behind that too. I know that sounds a little gross, but it really does work. Anyhow, so that's mouthfeel. Now, overall impression. Well, first of all, to me, a Smittix is something I can go to a bar, I see it up on the tap list, and I go, okay, I'll have a Smittix. Okay, without a question, I'll say, okay, I'll just have a Smittix, because I know that Smittix is going to be something that I can drink, I can eat with food, and not have it interfere with the flavor of the food. Okay. You're going to be drinking it. You can drink it with people. You can drink it sitting around in a nice situation, nice social situation. It's just a good overall fantastic beer. And this red ale doesn't disappoint either. So do I recommend it? Of course I recommend it. I mean, this is some great stuff here. Smittix. And if you get, it depends on what you get, but you can get the regular Smittix. You can get this. Either way. And remember, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's made by Guinness. So you've got quality right there. I mean, so overall impression, yeah. See if you can find it there at your local store. And you can find them pretty much anywhere. And Smittix is, you find it at local grocery stores. And if you can't find them there, go to a place that sells specialty beers. I'm sure they'll have something like that. Other than that, let's talk about the beer specs, and we're going to do it next on
In the heart of Dublin, Ireland, Smittix Brewery stands as a venerable testament to the rich history of Irish brewing. Founded in 1710 by John Smithwick, the brewery has weathered centuries of change, evolved into an iconic establishment that reflects the enduring spirit of Irish craftsmanship. Smittix, really mispronounced a lot of the time, is locally pronounced as such, Smithix or Smithix. The story of Smittix began in the early 18th century as Ireland was experiencing a burgeoning beer culture. Soon, Smittix seized the opportunity to contribute to this flourishing industry. The brewery quickly gained a reputation for producing top-notch ales, drawing inspiration from traditional Irish recipes and brewing techniques. The signature ale, Smittix Red Ale, became the cornerstone of their success. Over the years, Smittix Brewery navigated the challenges of economic shifts, wars, and societal changes. The brewery's resilience mirrored the steadfast character of the Irish people. The 19th century saw expansions and technological advancements that propelled Smittix to new heights, solidifying its status as a key player in the Dublin brewing landscape. The 20th century brought both triumphs and tribulations for Smittix. Like many breweries, it faced the hardships of prohibition and economic downturns. In 1965, the brewery was acquired by Guinness as a member of their excellent offerings. Today, Smittix continues to thrive as a prominent player in the global beer market. Its legacy is not just confined to Dublin. It resonates across continents as enthusiasts savor the distinct flavors that embody centuries of brewing expertise. From its humble beginnings in 1710 to its present-day global presence, Smithwick's has become more than a brewery. It's a cultural icon, weaving the story of Irish brewing into the fabric of history. In addition, Smithwick's can be considered a session beer. A session beer is a beer that you can enjoy a few of them in a drinking session and still have your wits about you. This is attributed to the moderate amount of alcohol in the beer. Smithwick's Red Ale. Style: Irish Red Ale. Session beer. ABV: 4.5%. IBU: 17. SRM: 27 to 30. Flavor profile: sweet malt and biscuit, moderate hop bitterness.
Okay, folks, that was the beer specs for Smithwick's Red Ale. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I know I do always. I love bringing that information to you. It's sort of kind of my beer geekness, if you would. But Smithwick's Red Ale, or really anything from Smithwick's or Guinness for that matter. So other than that, listen, I appreciate you being here. Again, hope you learned something. Want to make sure that you had a great time here reviewing the Red Ale. Go get you some. It's really good. If not this, just get Smithwick's. Have your friends over. Have them sit with you. Pour it in a nice glass. Again, it doesn't have to be a Smithwick's glass. I would suggest something like this, but if you don't have that, that's fine. Other than that, listen, I want to say thank you for being here. Remember, subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Get notified on our next episode of Don't Drink This Beer. And really what I want you to do is, of course, drink the beer. Now, that being said, a couple things. Remember, if you can find it, get your beer review logbook off of Amazon. The description's down there in below the link. $8.99. You can't beat it. You write your beer review there yourself. Keep a track of what you drink, especially if you're really, really into finding great beers. This is going to be a great book for you. And if you can find it, I've still got to get up with them. I've still got to ask them if they'll put this out in PDF. It's apparently on some iBook or something. But it's the Total Wine Total Guide to Beer. And that's what I was reading out of earlier for the description of the Irish Red Ale. So that's a wonderful book that'll give you lots of information. I'm going to set that aside. And if you're in the upstate of South Carolina and go to any one of our multiplying breweries here, this is the Upstate Ale Trail. So if you get in there, you look at one of the venues, you'll see this book. You'll find a whole bunch of information about the local ales and the local breweries that we do have. Go find them, mark them off, take them on. In fact, I've pretty much almost gone to every one of them. But you can definitely do your little beer hunt there. And of course, the beer review score sheet, the beer score sheet from the Beer Judge Certification Program. It's going to allow you your listing to, review your beers in the 5 categories that we mentioned: the aroma, the appearance, the mouthfeel, the overall impression, and the taste. That's out of order, but that's okay. You also have a list here of off flavors that you may encounter, and how to identify them, and what to think about them. Now, again, I want to definitely say thank you for being here. Remember, subscribe. It's over here. That's what it is. It's over here. Subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Get notified on the next episode, and we will see you coming up shortly. We've got a couple more beers for the year to review here, so do keep up with us. Some really exciting things. Some American beers, some international beers. I mean, it's all just a big smattering of whatever I can find, and some other good stuff that I've got for you. Other than that, I definitely want to say thank you for being here. Remember, Prost! Chin Chin! Kanpai, Salud, Slancha, because it's Irish, right? And of course, from America, cheers. Slancha indeed. And happy holidays, okay? Peace, love, and beer.